The Sahara Desert has made its way over to the Caribbean. Major League Soccer is doing a tournament in July. And the U.S. housing market, it's looking a little shaky. All that and more on this week's episode of Short End of the Pick with Richard and Kurt. Hello and welcome to Short End of the Pick with Richard and Kurt. Hey, you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you're staying up to date in all of what that we're doing. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at PodcastSEP. That's at PodcastSEP. And we're going to be just throwing some stuff at you today. You know, a little bit of stuff in the news, a lot of stuff going on in sports. Local sports for us, that'd be U.S. sports, but also some English Premier League stuff. And then we'll do a little stock talk later on. Hey, Kurt, how's it going over there?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. What's up?
Not much. I finally got my hair cut. I can't believe it took me this long.
How many months was that going on?
Oh, I mean, it was before the year that I had gotten my last haircut, so going on like 6 or 7.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
probably
7.
Yeah.
Oh, 6 or 7 months? Wow.
Yeah, probably about as long as I'd ever been without a haircut.
It's crazy, man.
At least in recent memory.
Well, everything's good here. You know, we're still working from home, and I had my family over last weekend, but from a few hours away. But yeah.
Excellent. Do you guys have some fun?
Yeah, it was Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, everyone.
Oh yeah, that's right. Happy belated Father's Day. Awesome.
Yeah, we haven't been on for a couple weeks, so
yeah.
it's nice to
we
be
skipped
back.
last week. It was a nice respite. To just, re-energize a little bit.
Things get a little hectic, and also you're gonna be gone for a couple weeks, so we're gonna have to take another little hiatus.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'll be out of here for 2 weeks, I think. So we probably won't be here for the next 2 weeks, but maybe we'll try and do some posts or something like that to Twitter and try and see if we can get a couple of picks in that way. What do you think?
Yeah, that'll be good because we're gonna need to. I guess it's 2 weeks. This is going to be the last one, so pay close attention.
Yeah. That's right. All right, let's get right into these stories here, man. Like, we got that big one right off the top, the Sahara Desert moving its way into the Caribbean. You might be thinking, how the heck? What is he talking about? That doesn't make any sense. The Caribbean's a giant ocean.
This has been making some news, though, in the last couple days.
That's a good point.
Highly anticipated.
I wonder what percent of this is associated with our predictions for the hurricane season. So every year during the summertime in particular, the trade winds start to pick up, and they pick up all the sand off of the Sahara Desert and they push it across the Atlantic Ocean, and it pushes the Sahara Dust, like these very fine particulates, and it pushes them into the Caribbean. And it's usually not like this huge deal, like it's not particularly dense or anything like that, but it is people with allergies or whatever sometimes can feel it, and you can kind of see it on your car and stuff like that.
Is it a bigger deal? Is it a bigger deal down in the Caribbean? Because we've heard it before, but it always comes up every once in a while, like, but I've never noticed anything. Is it more apparent down in the Caribbean? Oh
yeah, like you can see it settling on your cars and stuff like that in the Caribbean, and you can see it in the sky. You can see the haze. Actually, my family is down there right now. They sent pictures. Maybe I'll post them or something like that of how dense.
Exclusive
how dense,
reporting by Richard.
How dense the dust is, and it's pretty intense down there right now. But this is the biggest. This is like the most dust that they've had in like 50 years or something like that. That's why it's making such big news. You can see it from the International Space Station. They're saying like it is really dense, dude.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You can see some of those
it on the radar, satellite images and stuff.
Yeah, if you look at the satellite images right now, you can't see the islands almost.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I don't know, like I said, like we've heard about it here in Florida. We hear about it every once in a while, like maybe not every year. Every year they mention it, but it never becomes like actual news except like maybe every few years. And even then, I've never really noticed anything. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is surely the biggest that's in my lifetime. So it'll be curious to see how much it makes it. And I haven't been in South Florida either, so I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yeah, it should be like this weekend. I think we should be seeing the effects.
Yeah,
of that
this weekend
Florida.
it'll be coming.
But
that'll be
it'll
crazy.
be interesting. Yeah.
And also they say with people that are, they say if people with COVID are struggling, in their homes because they're not necessarily in the hospital, it could cause more complications with the breathing and all that. I don't know.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. And like in this kind of density, people that have like allergies or like asthma or something like that may not be used to this, so that might be add a little bit of complications to people that wouldn't get it on a regular basis. All right, so big question for you. Is this going to make hurricanes worse? Is it going to make hurricanes stronger, or is it going to not do anything? I don't know anything about how the particles interact with the atmosphere, but
I don't know. I would say
part of our prediction kind of coming along. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I would say, I mean, this always happens in hurricane season, but I don't think it impacts anything major. Maybe it's a little bit preventative while it's in the air, but how long does it stick around? I mean, doesn't it just plume over and then it's pretty much over in a week?
Yeah, it's like it's not very long term, but yeah, I just wonder if this is kind of like settling it down a little bit, because this June has not been particularly active, and we've got to get through a lot of them, you know?
Yeah, but it doesn't really. It's interesting. Like, from my experience, you typically have like a couple early ones to kick off the season, and then June really is. You shouldn't really expect hurricanes in June. They really, I mean, the season starts on June 1st, but
even July.
Yeah, even July, I wouldn't expect that much. Like August, September, like late August to early September, that is the sweet spot. And even then, that's like where it really picks up, and then it does last through September and into October. You'll still see some if it's a big season. So June, it's usually really quiet. That's why I don't put too much stock on. I mean, we're already, we're 3 names in, right? So 3 named storm systems in.
I wonder if
think that's pretty big for. I think that's pretty. I think that's pretty good as far as number of names going in for this early. And then June's going to be quiet. I'm not surprised by that.
But this is kind of like ramp up time, you know, for as far as getting those waters really warm, and that dust might be blocking a little bit of that sun. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe we'll see. Every day is getting shorter from here on out, because the 21st of June is the summer solstice.
This El Nina, is it El Nina that we're in right now that we have going on?
It'd be La Nina or El Nina.
I'm sorry, La Nina. Is that intensifying this dust cloud moving over? I mean, because there's no shear wind or something. I have no idea.
That would be pure speculation from me.
All right, what's our next story?
Definitely something to keep an eye on. The next one is kind of just a cool one, and we can kind of be quick about this too. But CERN, which is I don't know what that stands for, but it's out in Europe, that Hadron Collider, the big it shoots particles at like the speed of light or near the speed of light, like protons or neutrons or something. They shoot it at each other. Well, anyway, CERN approved a plan internally, I guess, for $23 billion.
I think CERN is like. I think CERN is like a European language acronym, because on this news article it says, but CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, which is really EONR. So but maybe it's something like that.
Yeah. So definitely it's got to be. It's like,
I think it's in Germany or something like that, right?
Yeah. One of those
somewhere
countries.
in Europe.
Yeah, somewhere in Europe. Anyway, right now they have like 13-mile diameter, or not 13-mile circumference. Whoa. Or something like that. I don't know.
The Earth. 13-mile diameter.
They've just got approved a plan for a $23 billion, 62-mile long super collider that they're gonna call the Future Circular Collider, which they're gonna basically build kind of right nearby. They might even intersect or something like that, but the intent is that they found those I can't think of the particle name right now, but they found the Higgs boson particle that they discovered when they were smashing them. They're hoping that they can get more of those and just kind of improve nuclear research and understanding of physics and like metaphysics or whatever, or theoretical physics and stuff. There's just a lot of implications for that, which is pretty cool. I think that's a good thing for us to be, pushing forward.
Yeah, they say it's going to be almost 4 times the size. And I'm guessing that the length of it really determines the speed that they can ramp a particle up to before colliding or something like that.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Because maybe it's magnetic or, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, I imagine that at a certain point.
It accelerates as it goes. I'm thinking it accelerates, as it goes along the path, along the tunnel or whatever. I don't know how it works.
Yeah. I don't know how it works.
So the longer you can make it, the the more speed you can ramp it up to, and then
I imagine that's like a logarithmic thing too, as far as getting the speed up faster. Like you can only get so big before it's like the cost of getting it huge. They might have just been like 62 miles long, man. That's the one.
Yep.
So 23 billion, it's a big investment, but if it's gonna, future or push forward our research into the future, that'd be awesome. Alrighty.
All right. What's going on in sports then?
Yeah, we'll move right into sports, man.
We got
we have some exciting stuff.
Yeah, the leagues are starting to put some plans together, but it's getting pretty late. I mean, it's taking them a while.
Yeah, I guess the first opener is that MLS thing. And so, obviously, like you said, it's getting late, and they still don't really have, like, all the understanding of what kind of, the impact of this disease or whatever. And so, they're kind of playing it safe. So MLS decided, you know what, we're going to do a little miniature tournament. Basically, they're going to seed everybody into a group, and then they're going to do, like, a World Cup, oriented or, like, Champions League or whatever, where they play group stage, and then they go out through the rounds until they find a winner. So that should be pretty cool. It's supposed to be 26.
I like that. I like that as a replacement. If that's a ton more feasible, then yeah, it's like having a World Cup, And yeah, we missed the season. That's already happened. Like you can't go back in time and recreate. Like, and if you try to extend it through the winter, you're going to be running into all other sports, and you're going to be running into your next season. So just do like a World Cup thing. I mean, that's already a soccer thing, and Americans love that. I mean, just everyone tunes in for a couple weeks or 3 weeks, and it's over. And it's like, that's pretty.
Yeah, and then this way they can kind of control the environment and stuff like that, because they're bringing everyone down to Orlando. They're going to do it at the ESPN, whatever, in the Disney resorts. And so they're going to have 54 matches, 39 group stage matches, and 15 knockout rounds matches on 26 different days. So you're going to get a ton of soccer. You know what I mean? Like,
it'll be fun.
You're going to be able to watch a bunch of stuff. And apparently they're gonna put the group stage. They're going to calculate the group stage matches towards your regular season points, if that makes sense.
But they only played 1 or 2 matches.
They were a couple of weeks in, but that's just how they're going to do it. That way they can still determine teams that are going to enter the Champions League, CONCACAF.
Okay.
Because that's still a thing that's coming up for next year. They still want
to
give teams the opportunity to be like, listen, like I'm in 3rd place right now. I'm down 1 spot. I can almost make it in if you guys give me
but they
an
only
extra
played,
couple of games.
But that's the thing. They only played 2 games out of like 30-something. You can't base what they're currently stand.
I thought they were like 8 weeks. I thought they were like 8 weeks in.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I thought it was like, I'm not 100% sure, but
I thought it was like 2 or 3 weeks, because remember Miami, the new Miami team, their stadium is real close to where we're at. They never got a home game. Before they got a home game, the season got canceled.
Yeah, that's right. They
so they couldn't have been 8 weeks in. I thought they were like 2 or 3 maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, so that'll be something we'll look into. The games start on July 8th, so definitely check that out. I don't think we'll do a video before that, but then when we do our next video, we'll talk about that and maybe make a couple of picks in that realm, because I think that'll be a little bit of fun. And it's east. There's like an east versus west deal going on there. There's internal rivalries and stuff. So it's kind of a wacky looking group
2
stage
games
as well. So
everyone played 2 games.
So they were only
so
2
far.
games. Okay, so it's kind of, I guess it's just them trying to be like, we're gonna assume.
But they
that
do need that
of your
Champions League thing figured out, because they already have rules based on if you go to the Champions League, if you were this place in the table and all that. So they do need to make it table based.
So it'd be kind of unfair to, like, for a team that was just really bad but got too easy, like a bad team played 2 easier teams and then is in first place, and then now they get to go to Champions League and are representing the MLS and CONCACAF. It kind of seems like a bad idea, Anyway, check out for that on July 8th. And then we're going to start seeing at the end of July, we'll start to see the round of 16, and then into early August is when we'll see the final. Alrighty, let's move right along.
Next story is about MLB, right?
Yeah, into the MLB. So this is kind of breaking, like within the last hour. There was reports from
breaking news.
Major League Baseball. Yeah, Major League Baseball, that the Players Association voted in a 33-5 vote to reject MLB's 60-game offer with expanded playoffs, which basically, I'm reading off of ESPN.com right now, puts Commissioner Rob Manfred in position to unilaterally implement a schedule of his choosing, likely between 50 and 60 games. So basically they put it up to the players to say, hey, you guys cool with a 60 game season with an extended playoff? And they were just like, nah. Like, the Players Association was just not having it. And I understand kind of where they're coming from them. There might be a sense of why would I go into the season when it's basically a throwaway season anyway and want to play any amount of games if it's going to potentially be an issue, like if I end up catching the virus or something like that, and then, kind of ruins everything. But either that or they wanted a longer season. They wanted to be like, well, let's play out a full season or most of a full season. Well, anyway, I don't know where they were thinking about that. I don't know where they were on that, but if either way, I kind of see what their thought process is. Any thoughts on that?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess what you said is like, it's a throwaway season no matter what we do. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, that's a lot of games to play, and I don't know. It's going to be in a short amount of time. The break, the All-Star break, would be probably coming up here in a week or two in a normal season, and that would be half of a season. So I'm thinking 162. There's about 80 games left in a normal season. So yeah, it wouldn't necessarily be super rushed. But what's a 60 game? I mean, that's 1/3. That's like 1/3 of the games they would even have played. So you're not going to get a full schedule. It's not going to be like the baseball. I don't know. The thing is, like, it all depends on the players' contracts and how much they're getting paid to do nothing. Because if I'm getting paid to sit back and do nothing, of course I'm going to advocate for no games. Yeah, safety. We don't want to catch the disease. What's really going on is I want to get paid for not having to play, because if I have to play, then I could get injured and all this other, and it's
exactly.
And I have to leave my family. I've been chilling with my family, and I'd much prefer that with my millions of dollars that I've made over my career than having to work and go to train and go travel or whatever. So there's a lot to figure out. I mean, it's no easy task, and it would be sad if we don't have a season this season for baseball.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask next. I was going to say, do you want to see games, or does it even matter at this point?
At this point, it's going to be very strange. It's almost like, see, the MLS thing, like, I'm kind of a fan of that idea, that tournament kind of thing. Like, but there's not all this tradition around the MLS as much, and I feel like that just fits more. Like, soccer, it fits to just have a quick tournament to solve things. I feel like baseball is kind of like the NBA. Like, I don't know. It's like there's tradition, a 60-game season. I don't know. I mean, if there was a champion at the end of that, would we really even give them full credit? I mean, I don't know. It's very strange for baseball. I think. Of course, I would love to have seen a season. I would love to see games, but I don't know how much stock I would really, as a fan, put into them.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad because, the Rays were on a good – I'm a Rays fan, and they did really well last year, and they were supposed to do pretty well again. This is supposed to be a good year for them, yeah. But it's over. I mean, it's pretty much already scrapped as far as the regular season's concerned.
At a certain point for me, and I think for a lot of people, they just want to see something on TV. Summers are typically a down period for, like TV series and things like that on television, like primetime television. They typically run seasons that don't cover the summer, because summertime is usually like where kids are outside, like, family vacations and stuff like that. Summertime is not usually a time when they're pumping out new episodes. Sometimes they'll do some fun thing like ABC Summer of Fun or something like that, where they'll show movies every prime time instead or something like that. But summer is not usually a time. So what you can get by on is, so there's I shouldn't say get by on. What a lot of people want to see is sports. And so well,
think about it this too. The Olympics were supposed to be going on, like, right now.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So we were supposed to be getting Olympics to carry us through the summer as well. And we're getting none of it. So it's we go from baseball, NBA Finals,
Stanley Cup. Early summer. Yeah.
Right, that was patching us through Olympics and all this stuff.
MLS,
and
soccer.
In another year, it would have been the World Cup or something. Yeah, MLS. And then we're going from all that to nothing. No Olympics. Like, that's a huge
Yeah,
That's a huge
that's exactly what I'm getting at. Like, these people were craving this, and then they don't have any plan. People were prepared to not be able to see anything. So at this point, I think we're getting back a lot of that stuff. Like, EPL's already started back up. Bundesliga's almost over, but it kind of got in there.
But those were kind of easy
MLS
to solve.
is doing stuff. Yeah, MLS
those
is
were
going
like
in
they
now.
already had most of their season done. So if they squeeze in something quick at the end,
yeah, it's not like a big deal. It's
eats
not
away
high
at their
risk.
break a little bit, but they finish it for finishing its sake. But for
Yeah.
MLB, it was like it never got started.
Yeah,
It's just a bad deal to begin with.
Yeah.
We're already out the season. So
but everyone's
it's like-
already getting their fix with MLS, and then maybe some other things are going to get started too. Like maybe you might see some sort of tournament in basketball or something like that. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
These are all kinds of things that are still up in the air. You don't necessarily know, but if you're already getting your fix, then there's no sense in taking that kind of risk, especially like you said, MLB has that like tradition and stuff like that associated with it.
Yep,
And people would
yep.
never consider a 60-game season a real season. Alrighty, let's move into Dick's picks and captain's log for this week.
So, yeah. Did we ever tweet out the results for last week? Because I'm looking at it right now.
I don't think we did.
So, do you want to quickly review that? We both
mean,
picked
like-
the same thing last time. I'm talking about 2
yeah,
weeks,
yeah.
our last episode where we picked the
I forget who we picked last episode, man. That was 2
yeah we
weeks
picked
ago.
we picked Schalke versus Bayer Leverkusen in the,
Oh, yeah,
in the
that's right.
Bundesliga, and we both picked Bayer Leverkusen to win by 2.
Well, yeah.
So we both picked the same thing, so it doesn't really matter what happens, right?
Yeah.
But who
what
knows?
was the
Maybe
result?
someone else picked something. The result was a draw. It was 1-1.
Wow, really?
Schalke at home held their ground, so
Wow.
we were kind of off on that.
Yeah. I even said, Schalke at home, like coming out of the, kind of a stagnant couple of months
Yeah.
there. Home advantage might be something.
I think
And
I
I
even
guess it
said
was.
like I could see a draw or something like that, but I
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that
yeah.
every week. But so
Yeah.
it's okay.
A draw in the is not a big deal, but so this week we're going to be looking primarily at Premier League, and by primarily I mean exclusively, but we're going to do 2 games this week because there's a couple of pretty decent games this week.
Yeah.
So our first game is going to be Man United and Sheffield, and that's probably going to be the better of the 2 games. We did like a little side pick last week when we didn't literally a week ago when we didn't do our video podcast where we picked Man U, and I kind of felt hesitant, but I realize now we never posted our picks from that, so it wasn't. So it's not like I'm like overdoing Man United. So we'll do Man U versus Sheffield. So Man U at home taking on Sheffield United, and they're both kind of near the spot where you might be getting into Champions
Yeah.
League or might not be getting into Champions League. So they both got to get a win here. They got to get a big win.
Yeah,
Both of
this is really consequential. And Man United played Tottenham, so that was a big match where it was a draw. Sheffield just got beat. They could have picked up 3 points against Newcastle and got smashed by Newcastle.
Ooh.
So Sheffield could be 47. They could be in 5th place right now above Man U, but they lost. So it's tight there. And remember, keep in mind, spot number 4 is typically where we get Champions League. 1, 2, 3, 4. But Man City has been banned from Champions League for like 2 years or something, or at least a year, right? And they're trying to appeal, right? But if that suspension holds, spot 5 is now Champions League. So Man United sitting in Champions League, tied on points with Wolves below them, 2 points above Sheffield, and that's what's making that a big game. And then, of course,
that's a
you've got
huge
Tottenham
game.
and Crystal Palace. Those teams, all those teams are within 4 points of them, and we've got like 5 or 6 games left, 5 games left. So 8 games left. So
Yeah. A good
lot of
amount of
motion.
games. There's time.
yeah, so this is a huge game for that Champions League spot, presumably.
Yeah. And then
Now, if-
carrying right into
Yeah.
that, I'll read the other one and then you can say whatever you're going to say. We're
Yeah.
going to also do the Chelsea versus Man City game. So Chelsea hosting Man City. Not as big for Man City. They're pretty much locked in at second place, and I don't think there's any opportunity for them to get into first, and I don't really think there's much of an opportunity for them to get caught at this point. But this is pretty big for Chelsea because, again, they're in that position where they're fighting to keep a spot that they can get into Champions League or something like that. You don't want to start falling apart at the end of the season playing hard teams and then end up losing
Right.
two, maybe 3 places from where you are right now and then falling out of Champions League. That wouldn't be great for them. So that'll be our second game, as you were saying.
On the flip side, spot 5 is what we're looking at as the entry point. But what happens if Man City's thing gets overturned or they loosen up the suspension and maybe delay it a year or something like that? Then, Chelsea, they're in spot 4, so they need to hold on to spot 4. And yeah, there's 5 points between them and Man United, but let's say they lose and Man United wins. Okay, that's not 5. Now it's only 2. So and you got tons of so Chelsea does. I think this is a big game for them too. A draw would be huge at home this week. Huge. Yeah. Even a draw would be. And it depends on what happens a lot below you. But Chelsea
then
needs to pick up points.
They can at least maintain. Like, if they can draw, they can at least stay where they are for a little bit longer. You know, like they can regroup. I don't know what the
it's
going to
be really hard. Yeah, it's going to be really hard for any team to catch you, even if you draw the rest of the season, because you're going to pick up that many points. And so, yeah, of course, teams can catch you if they win every single game they're going to play from here on out. But we all know that's not what happens. So if you can just get points and get results, the problem, like you said, is if Chelsea just start losing, and no points coming in, and teams below them really, one of them starts to surge, so Chelsea holding on. So those are 2 pretty big games.
And to be fair, I don't really know what the rest of the season looks like for any given team as far as difficulty of schedule is concerned. But I mean, they have to play one of the top 2 teams in the league right now. So this is, I mean, that alone makes their remainder of games pretty high difficulty level. So this is a consequential game for them. If they can pull out a draw here, that would be huge, like you said. Alrighty, do we want to go in and do Dick's Picks and Captain's Log simultaneously for both? Do we want to do Dick's Picks, Captain's Log individually? I'll do my picks first, then you do yours picks. I wrote mine down this week.
Oh, I didn't write mine down.
But you carried us last time we did an episode, so this time I'm going to carry us with the piece of paper.
And all right, I'll do my picks first.
I was going to say, since I wrote it down.
I'll do my picks first then, and then you show what you got.
Yeah.
All right, so for the Man U Sheffield United game, I'm picking Man United to win by 1 goal. They drew against Tottenham, but now they'll be at home, and they'll be the superior team. Sheffield will play really deep in that, but Man U will crack them down.
Is Sheffield the promoted team?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
they've been incredible. I mean, this is a magical season. I mean, we've seen better. I mean, we've seen promoted teams get into like the top 4 before, or top 5. But who knows? Maybe they can do that. I mean, they need to beat United right now, and they're in like I said, if they had beat Newcastle, they would be number 5 right now. So this is incredible. But yeah, I think Man United is going to crack them down. Man United looked pretty good against Tottenham a couple days ago. So, and then my pick for the Chelsea-Man City game is going to be a draw. Chelsea needs a draw. They're going to be at home. They'll play defensively. Man City looks good. I mean, Man City killed Arsenal in their first game back. So
didn't Chelsea do pretty decently last week? They won, but it wasn't a
They beat Aston Villa. They went down to Aston Villa over the weekend. They went down by a goal, and then they came back and scored 2. So I think but Chelsea has quality. I think Chelsea will do what it takes defensively. I don't know if it's going to be a scoreless draw. Probably not, but I'm picking a draw.
Alrighty, and then I am going to go ahead and do so I got my main. I gotta read because I forgot what I put down. So it's a good thing you went first. Alrighty. So official pick. Let me make sure my video camera is picking this up properly, and maybe you can kind of see it too. I have my official pick is Man U is gonna go with a +1, and I have Man City with a +2 actually.
Oh wow!
And so my +2 with Man City is that. They're allowing more substitutions, and I think Man City has a lot of depth.
That's right.
And so I think that since there's no stadium, there's no crowd or anything like that, the home field advantage is almost inconsequential for them.
That's true.
I see Man City coming in here and besides being able to play on the pitch regularly,
but also just like just psychological. That's it. Like defending our turf kind of thing. But that's it.
But they've got so much depth and with an extra couple of substitutions.
I love that argument. Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, Man City certainly has more quality depth on the bench, and I think they got 5 instead of 3 subs or something like that. So
and then my Man U +1. I just think that Man U. This is kind of playing to that substitution thing. Like Sheffield, I think the one thing that's playing to Sheffield's favor is that because they're a promoted team, they the expectations were high to begin with. So whatever training regimen they were doing before obviously worked this season. Like they came into the season not knowing where they were going to be, and it worked. So I just feel like you weren't expecting a lot from the team. Those players were only as talented as they were. A lot of that was just putting in the work. So if they had good work ethic off, when they couldn't actually be playing, which is probably what got them pretty far, then that's gonna maybe give them opportunity to draw. But it's just like at work ethic thing, because obviously they're doing really well, not because they have the most talented players necessarily. I mean, that goes to Man City, or probably Man City, honestly, maybe Liverpool. But they're top 6, right? Top 7 or something like that. So
yeah,
obviously there's something there. If they were working hard off while they were off, then maybe they could do something. But again, I give it to Man U. They're gonna have the talent and the depth to pull.
All right.
Alrighty, let's roll into. So that's
Stock
Kurt's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah. Captain's log and Dick's pick. For this week. So we'll post that in the description below, so you guys can review those picks too.
And make your picks as well.
Twitter. Yeah. Oh yeah. Make your picks. Comment your picks below.
Comment
too.
down
Check
below.
us out on Twitter. You can retweet back whatever your picks are too. We post when we're doing it. I don't know that we've been posting we should start posting what the actual picks are on Twitter. We'll do that this week.
All right, so we got to get into stock
talk. Nice. Yep. So our first one, and it's pretty much our only story. We'll see if we can kind of keep this short.
We've got housing metrics. You mentioned it at the beginning.
Yeah. Yep. So basically, the two news stories that are headlined right now are: number one, U.S. home sales hit 9.5-year low amid the disruptions from COVID-19 pandemic, and then number two, U.S. home mortgage delinquencies reached their highest level since 2011. So not only are people not buying homes, the people that have homes aren't even paying the mortgage on their homes. So that's kind of a bad whammy for lenders, people that are lending out money, because one, they're never gonna they're gonna have to take on if the person that has the home that goes delinquent on their mortgage just gives the keys to the bank. The bank says, okay, well, now I have an asset that I can't sell because no one's buying. So it's kind of a double whammy in that sense.
Right. So, I mean, it's basically, I don't see how housing prices then can't drop like a rock. Because if there's no one that wants to buy a house, and you've got a bunch of people who are in a position they can't make the payment, so they have to sell the house. So there's a bunch of people that are trying to put the house on the market because they don't want to suffer they don't want to, like you said, it's the same thing, foreclosure. They give the keys to the bank and the bank tries to sell it. Same thing. You got increase in the supply of wanting to sell and a decrease in the demand of having the cash down payment and having the income. So isn't the price, how can the price not fall? Yeah. And I look at the housing. I did this a couple weeks ago on my podcast, and I said, tell me in a year from now, or I didn't say a year from now. I said January of next year, 2021. Is the housing price index going to be lower or higher, or basically not changed from today? What do you think? And so it's like, how can the housing and the housing price index hasn't dropped yet? It's like it hasn't. That's the one thing we haven't seen like a collapse in yet. The stock market collapsed, like everything. Employment collapsed, but the housing price index hasn't seen that repercussion yet.
Yeah, and it's only a matter of time. The thing with the housing market, and this is the statistics that we're reading, were just kind of just a U.S. average. It's so locally you might see somewhere like Nevada right now might have like huge numbers of people that are going delinquent on their home because there's just no one visiting. Nevada right now, a bunch of people are laid off probably. Whereas somewhere else that has like really high industrial output or something like that, like a rural part of America, they might actually be seeing, like people making regular payments on their homes, like there's some sort of manufacturing or something like that, in areas where people are like the community is really heavily reliant on these industrial things that people are buying up a lot of goods right now. So I don't know. It's just a really wide market. So you're going to see very localized impact is what I'm
But what about I carry this over not just to, single family homes and the housing market as far as residential housing, which these two stories are talking about residential housing mainly. But what about commercial, business park type real estate? Because let's say you're a small business or a medium business that had like, a couple units, or, you were renting space in a business park or something like that. You had an office. And why would you keep paying rent? Everyone's working from home. Maybe you've got 10 employees and you had an office suite, right?
Yeah.
And now everyone's working from home and your lease is coming up, right?
Yep.
And it's like, do you want to renew or not? No, I'll not renew now. And then if later in a few months we want to renew, we'll do that later.
Exactly.
So how is that not killing the people who own these business parks that are trying to rent out space? Yeah. Lots of people are dropping off. The money's not coming in maybe. And then in the core of your cities, in the urban cores, you're going to start to see commercial real estate fall. And at a certain point, with the amount of money that's going into lending, that's coming from the same lenders, that's going into commercial and residential, something's got to like fall apart here. No, I mean, it's a very ominous data that we're looking at right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of power in the hands of the of the renter, I guess, of the person that doesn't have that really heavy asset right now, because they can be like, no, I'm just gonna pull all my stuff out of your office space and then not rent for another 6 months and save all that money and just store it in my house somewhere.
Yeah, but that's
and then
that
you might
leads,
change.
Like,
yeah, you might. Totally
that's
change
not in a chamber. Like that leads to like a massacre if that becomes a domino. You know what I mean? Like a chain reaction. It leads to like a very scary place where the price, I mean, it's scary depending on who you are, but like if you're looking to buy, of course it's not scary for the prices to fall dramatically, but like all these people who think they have wealth built up in real estate, it's kind of scary that the prices should fall. I don't know. They haven't felt like, I'm looking at the index right now, and March 2020, the housing price, S&P Case-Shiller U.S. National Home Price Index was higher in March than in February. Now, that's the latest data they have there. They crunch these numbers a little bit retroactively. So March, I mean, maybe by June now we've seen some drop, but the price leveled off, but it was up, not down in March.
Yeah. I don't know.
How long is it going to take for these trends to kind of coalesce?
Yeah, they're going to ripple out eventually, and if you're in the market for a home, I mean, this might be an opportunity. If you don't necessarily have a huge down payment, like saved up or something like that, I bet there's going to be a lot of programs out there associated. Like banks are going to be like, listen, I'm going to basically give this house to you because it's an asset. If it comes to fruition that a lot of these people end up getting kicked out of their homes, banks are just going to be like, listen, I'll give you whatever rate you want, and you don't have to give me any down payment because me sitting on this appreciable asset does me no good because I can't maintain it the right way. Whereas
the price has to drop.
Yeah, so
hopefully to get more people in the fold.
Hopefully we don't necessarily see that too much, depending on who you are, because that has a really big impact on the economy.
I mean, I'm personally looking to buy a house, so
yeah. Personally, it would be nice, but
but the thing is, like, one thing that may be holding the prices in place is the federal government stepping in and creating a lot of money to keep the banks shored up. So if they don't have money coming in, it's not a huge deal. They don't feel like they have to act now and cut the prices right now. So they can hold on to, like, let's not panic. Let's not, and so that's like that force that's keeping the prices steady and normal is, what's going on in the background. And of course that has other implications longer term, but I think that the federal unemployment benefits that they end in the coming month or next month, either July or August. So if we don't see a return to normalcy by then we're going to start to see that housing impact really start. Yeah, it's like how long can
over.
this? Yeah, how long can this last?
Alrighty, let's roll right into the indices and then we'll do our picks.
Yep.
So this week, we'll do we want to do from last time, or do we just want to do over the last week, or just the day? Okay,
care.
so the indices today, NASDAQ is up 1%, which is pretty decent. Dow Industrials average 0.6%, pretty decent as well. And then S&P 500 is up 0.65%. So the indices in general up over the last day, and pretty stable-ish, maybe a little down, maybe a little up over the last week. So it was coming off of that weird week for a lot of like travel related stocks and stuff like that because of the flare up in COVID case positivity rate. positive, like the number of positive cases.
It put a brakes on some of these drastic industry recoveries. Yeah.
So a lot of people were kind of the market was maybe a little shook on those travel related, like entertainment / travel related stocks. So but the rest of the market was pretty okay. I mean, it didn't like get crushed. It dropped a little bit, but it didn't just fall off the face of the map like those travel ones did. Have any thoughts on that? We'll roll right into the picks from last week, and then
no thoughts. And you
week.
Saw today, like the markets, all things considered, the market's still doing fine, and it's still creeping up. Like it takes 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and 2 steps forward and that's.
It's just an expected kind of thing with the kind of volatility we're dealing with, and that's what we talk about
and it's
every
happening
single time.
That's volatility. The thing. It's like it's not taking 2 steps forward, like all industries together, and then 1 step back, all industries together. Like different industries are surging, and different industries are collapsing down and back and forth. So all these different things are just, when you sum them all together, it's been a very consistent march upward, and it's like recovering, but it's. It goes from quick to slow depending on what industry you're looking at. But yeah.
Alrighty. So last week, or I should say last episode, 2 weeks ago, we had a couple of picks. Your hot take, is it your hot take or is it my hot take?
Man, it's your hot take.
Remember that. My hot take and your big
hot
pick.
Take.
Oh yeah, because you got the big pick. So my hot take was Hertz, which was not hot. that was freezing cold temperature.
Neither of our picks were hot. Let's just put that up front.
Yeah, and then yours was Save, which is the stock symbol is Save. It's Spirit Airlines.
Yeah.
Hertz was trading at
we
about
were riding
$5.
high on the travel stocks.
Yeah, $5 a share was what Hertz was trading at. Today it's trading at $4.41 a share. It's a drop of about 75%. Save, which is Spirit Airlines, was trading around the 25.50 mark when we said grab it, right? Was that 2 weeks ago? Yeah.
25,
and
something like that.
Today it's trading at about 18.50, so that's a drop of about 27%. So of the two really bad picks this week, you did a lot less bad.
Mine wasn't as risky.
Yeah. Yeah, mine's I'm not even sure what, like, cuz
Hertz literally declared bankruptcy. So.
Yeah, I have no idea what Hertz is going to. Yeah, I know. It's just like I was just like kind of fingers crossed and hoping for the best. But then that COVID flare up is just not going to happen. I don't know. If you have Hertz stock, I have no idea. Maybe just sit on it. Like at a certain point, the losses are going to be the losses. But obviously, we're not telling you how to invest your money or anything like that. And so investing always comes with risk of loss, and so you invest at your own will. But these are our fun picks. All right, let's move into this week's. Kurt's big pick
wrap it up.
And Richard's hot take, and we can wrap it up for the day. How about you go with your big pick?
All right, my pick is going to be ALGN. I meant to pick this one. Yeah, it's Align Technology. I think this might be those braces, one of those braces companies that send you like an Invisalign kind of a deal.
Oh yeah.
But I meant to pick these guys a couple weeks ago. When I picked something that ended up going really bad. So the main reasoning is the P/E ratio is super low.
Okay.
It's on a little bit of an upswing, but yeah, I see it. I just see it growing.
Yeah.
So, or no, actually it was down today. So it'd be a good. Maybe just the fact that it's down today is a good sign that if you buy it now, it might go up. So
you might get the swing. Yeah.
Yep. This is something that's undervalued in the market, I think.
Yeah.
I think the P/E. Did I say the P/E ratio is like 9 or 10?
Wow.
So that's really a low P/E ratio, which means it's undervalued. I mean, it's got some. It should grow.
Yeah, it's got a lot of potential.
I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed.
That is a big pick. That is a big pick.
All right. What about you? What's your hot take for the week?
All right. This week I'm taking Berkshire Hathaway Incorporated, which is stock symbol BRK. BRK.A. BRK.A. it trades in the hundreds of thousands of dollars per share. So obviously this is something that you'd need to be, unless you have that kind of money, I guess. But you'd need to be in the
They don't
fractional
have
shares.
like lesser. They don't have an option like a ticker that can get you in on a smaller price.
They probably do, but I mean at this point you could always just go in with fractional shares. You know what I mean? People be selling those all the time nowadays.
Like
So-
Berkshire Hathaway B is 181.25.
Oh, okay.
Share.
There you go.
I think it's
So-
the same exact. It's based
It's the same
on
thing, just scaled down
Yeah,
for the more common person.
exactly. Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
I just see it like trading. I mean, obviously it dropped off
Oh yeah, it's at a pretty low level still.
Yeah.
Wow.
What we just saw from when we last met. So this from when we last met was June 8th. It was pretty high, and then since this whole relapse or whatever, it dropped off again. So it's obviously undervalued. I mean, it's not undervalued, I guess, but it's valued at what it's valued. But I think that there's a lot of room for growth right now, and it's a company that's performed really well. If you look at its 5-year, it's been pretty fantastic over the last 5 years. So I would say worth picking up.
Yeah, I would say that's especially maybe not in 1 week. It won't. Who knows how much for a week? But that looks undervalued.
Yeah.
So if you hold on to that one, that was going to look good.
Long term.
All right. Well, what do you guys think? Comment down below your stock pick for the week. What do you think is going to grow over the next week? Can you beat our picks, Berkshire Hathaway and Align? With that, I think that wraps up the episode, Richard.
Sounds good to me. Let's kick it off.
Yeah.
Let's head out of here.
Let's wrap it up. Yeah. So, hey, comment down below the sports pick, the EPL picks. Comment down below. What do you think is going to happen to the hurricane season with this plume? And then what's your stock pick for the week? Make sure to like this video, subscribe if you want to keep up on our content, and follow us on Twitter at, what is it, Richard? I'm going to mess this up.
Podcast
SEP. So, so yeah, follow us on Twitter. Stay up to date with all our picks and all our recent stuff. So with that, this has been another episode of Short End of the Pick with Richard and Kurt. We'll see you guys on the next one. Until then.